The automotive world is full of bold statements and ambitious promises, but reality doesn't always live up to expectations. Today, I will tell you about 6 cars that failed to live up to expectations and left behind disappointment and bewilderment. And before we start, put a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and put a bell to not miss new videos on the channel. And I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Now let's get started. Let's start with the Tesla Cybertruck that caused a stir online with its bold launch. The promises seemed too good to be true. Lasers instead of wipers, unbreakable windows. We all remember how that ended up. And impeccable build quality. They even claimed it would be airtight enough to float on water. But the reality, far less impressive. The stainless steel panels do provide bulletproofing and corrosion resistance, but rust spots still appear. As for the $39,000 price tag, forget it. That's just the starting price with no additional options. Instead of the promised 500 miles of mileage, you'll get a maximum of 400, and that's only with an extra battery pack that eats up your cargo space. Compared to the Ford F-150, the Cybertruck's payload and towing capacity are laughable. The only area where Tesla exceeded expectations is acceleration, 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.6 seconds instead of the promised 2.9. Fast? Yes. Worth the hype? Questionable. Next up is the Bugatti Mistral, the successor to the Chiron, which was supposed to be an all-new car. Instead, it turned out to be an updated version of a decade-old design. Sure, there are some changes: new doors, an integrated exhaust, and slightly modified headlights. But for the most part, it's a mix of familiar elements from the Devel, Chiron, and other limited edition Bugattis. While the Mistral is undeniably beautiful, calling it innovative would be a stretch. Instead of a revolutionary design, we got a slightly updated classic, disappointing fans who expected more from one of the world's most prestigious automakers. Remember when Volkswagen planned to compete with the Mazda Miata? Their BlueSport Concept seemed like a dream come true. A compact mid-engine roadster with 180 horsepower and a 0 to 60 acceleration time of 6.5 seconds, all at an affordable price. The fully functional concept car was even legal, but the project never materialized. The last mention of it was in 2015, and since then, radio silence. Instead of a real Miata competitor, we are left with unfulfilled promises. It's a shame, because such a car could have brought a much-needed revitalization to the roadster market, which is still dominated by just one player. The story of the Dale deserves a special mention. This 3-wheeled, motorcycle-powered car with a claimed fuel economy of 70 miles per gallon, about 3.3 litres 100 kilometres, seemed ideal during the oil crisis of the 1970s. But behind it all was a massive scam. Businesswoman Elizabeth Carmichael raised investment but never produced a single car. It was later revealed that Carmichael was on the run and even disguised her identity to avoid arrest. The story eventually came to an end 19 years later, but no one has ever received their car from Dale. This bizarre story is a reminder of how far some people can go to take advantage of desperate times. Now let's talk about the Devel 16, unveiled in 2013 at the Dubai Motor Show. The claimed specs sounded like pure science fiction: 5,000 horsepower, 0 to 60 miles per hour acceleration in 1.6 seconds, and a top speed of 350 miles per hour. Although the engine, produced by Steve Morris Engines, exists, the rest remains a mystery. A base version with 2,000 horsepower was sold, but it was essentially a modified Chevrolet Corvette. And the promised 16-cylinder monster? Years later, it never came. The Devel 16 remained a mystery, a car that exists only in the dreams of its creators. Equally ambitious was the Vector W8 in the early 1990s. The car boasted twin-turbo engines and 1,200 horsepower and had a top speed of 242 miles per hour. But in reality, it suffered from constant overheating and a transmission that couldn't handle the power. Even during testing, several cars broke down one after another. The Vector W8 became a symbol of how difficult it is to turn ambitious dreams into reality, even with the best intentions. Its legacy serves as a cautionary tale for small startups trying to compete with giants. These stories remind us that making big plans is one thing, but delivering on them is something else entirely. The automotive world is full of visionary ideas, but not all of them make it to reality. Which of these cars surprised you the most? Share these thoughts in the comments and also write what you'd like to see next. Also put likes and subscribe to the channel, and with you was FlashFacts. See you on the next video.